Here's the truth. Suffering begins the moment that we give the keys to our happiness to someone else. And I've been doing just that without even realizing it. In today's Raw episode, I'm pulling back the curtain on the codependent patterns that I thought that I'd left behind, the guilt that's kept me playing small, and the decision that I'm now making to set myself and my joy free. If you're ready to stop apologizing for your peace, let's continue. Hello, friends. I have a confession. I've been in a very codependent relationship and I didn't even realize it. Let me elaborate. This past week, I spent some time with my kids in Tampa, Florida at Clearwater Beach, one of my favorite places in the world. Something about the white sand is just simply majestic. And I had the privilege of spending some time with my children away from everything, walking along the white sand beaches of Clearwater. And as I was walking, several insights came into my awareness, and I wanted to share those with you today in the spirit of vulnerability and in the spirit of self-reflection. I realized that I have had a very codependent relationship with others once again. If you're the type of person that gets flustered when other people don't show up in the way that you want them to, your energy gets out of whack, if your children misbehave, if your spouse doesn't respond in the way that you want, if the dog doesn't behave in the way that you want, if any of those things are true for you, you're a codependent just like I've been. And my intention with this podcast today is to break free a layer deeper of this codependency that I have with other people's situations, and in the hopes that you will gain some insights that can help you disentangle from these vicious chains of codependency. And I wanted to just really be real and share what's been happening. And again, I just feel like when I'm raw and I'm real, that really brings me to my truth and allows me to just really connect on a really deep level. And I'm hoping to do that today. So I'm in a committed relationship with an amazing man, my partner, my life partner, and we are both single parents. We both have 2 children each, and all of our children have had a variety of responses to our divorces, plural, as well as our spouses have had a variety of responses to the divorce. Yesterday was Father's Day, and it was my parents that came over, and I wanted to celebrate my father with my children. And I also invited the kid's father over because he is a father too. And we have the type of relationship where we can celebrate each other and just be there for each other. And it doesn't have to mean anything today. And that's simply where we're at 3.5 years after our divorce. In the case of my partner, however, it hasn't been so smooth sailing. I think for me personally, it's been the fact that my ex and I both have recovery under our belts. We both have a spiritual program under our belts. We both have had a variety of mentors, and really we've done some healing work within ourselves to be in a place of peace and acceptance within ourselves today, in whatever degree that is. I realized that, these spiritual foundations within Al-Anon that I've shared somewhat here on this podcast have really helped me deal with life and life's challenges and life struggles, and really helped me cultivate that certainty within myself that allows me to be a single mom that is able to take her kids for a week at a time and really feel good, really feel comfortable in being in these unknown waters, literally and figuratively, with my children. My partner, however, has had a very different experience, even 2 years after their divorce. So, with my partner, 3 years plus after moving out now of his family home, the resistance has taken a while for the children to kind of be on board, for his ex to finally let go of that anger, of that resentment, and really for things to start feeling quote unquote normal. So given all of these factors, I've had a really hard time with some of these things, and I'm going to be completely honest about it. I'm really grateful today. My children are an amazing place of acceptance, of love on both sides. We've gone through our share of drama, which I've shared again in this podcast, a couple weeks ago about my kid throwing a shoe at me. So it hasn't been smooth sailing. However, today, 2025, we're in a really great place and everyone's relatively calm. Everything's relatively peaceful. Of course, there's moments like every other household. We're not perfect, but for the most part, things are pretty constant. Things are pretty peaceful. And then I have my partner who sometimes deals with things with his children that don't look the way that they do at my home. When it comes to my relationship, I've really had to ask myself some really honest questions. Specifically, what do I really want? What do I really want with my life? What type of partner do I really want? What are the qualities that are really important to me in my relationship today? What does it mean to really be a unit together and to come together and to co-create a family together? Because the family piece is extremely important to me, especially as I'm aware of, my parents getting older. My dad's turning 73 this June. Just a lot of things are happening. My kids only have 4 years left at home in high school. And there's just so many things. I'm just really aware of this gift of time that I have today, that I don't want to waste time. And I really want to maximize my life and just really walk through life fulfilled. The quality of my life today is really what I desire, to have one of depth more than anything else. And I sat there a few weeks ago and I jotted down the answers to these questions, like, what do I really want? What type of partner do I really want? What does it mean to be a unit? What does it mean to be a family? And so on and so forth. And as I jotted down this wish list, if you will, I realized that my partner has all these qualities that I've always wanted. And not only that, our relationship today has all the qualities I've always wanted, qualities like friendship, qualities like intimacy, physical and emotional, qualities of like just enjoying time together, whether we're doing something like an activity or traveling or just being together, the ability to have this close friendship with a man. I never had that in my marriage. And, it's just such a beautiful relationship we get to have. And it's not perfect like every other couple. But when things come up, it really helps us to come back to our own selves and really work through our own crap, because we both have crap, and to really come together. And for the most part, it's allowed us to come together stronger. And, as I was sort of sitting with all of this these last few days, I realized how I felt guilty. And the guilt was around my kids being peaceful, my life being peaceful with my children, where I can get up and travel for a week and go away. And for him, it's a work in progress and there's beautiful things happening every single day. But I was feeling guilty about being happy. I just sort of really sat with it over the course of the last few days. And, I'm realizing that these feelings of guilt and shame really don't serve us. It's almost like, imagine having a stained glass window in front of you. It's almost like we're looking through the world through these stained glass windows, and every one of these emotions, guilt, shame, worthiness, every one of these expectations of things not going your way, people not going your way, all of these situations really start fogging up those windows in front of us, almost like they become stained glass windows and we literally can't see anything through them. Like our entire vision, our entire reality is completely discolored, and we can't get past that stained glass window where everything becomes dark, everything becomes out of focus, and we get lost in the drama. We get lost in the codependency. We get lost in all of it. And that feeling of guilt was coming up for me over and over and over again. And I remember just going, wow, like, Karishma, I know that you get to decide how deserving you are. Like, everything is a deserving issue in terms of our ability to get and to receive love, our ability to get and receive abundance, our ability to get and receive intimacy, connection, all the things that we've ever wanted from a relationship. By having the guilt, by having the shame, it's almost like telling ourselves, you're not enough. Like, every time I have that feeling of guilt, the guilt is actually preventing me from experiencing the totality of my joy, the totality of happiness and abundance and receiving. And, and it's this little guilt, but that guilt has like taken up so much space. It feels like heaviness. It feels like this weight right in the middle of my belly. And it actually prevents me from receiving the happiness that is there. And as I sat there with that guilt, I'm conscious of how it's preventing me from enjoying the experience of this beautiful unit that we are and all the things that we want. And, my partner and I have made these beautiful plans for travel and even experiences with my children. All these things that I've always wanted are actually there in front of me. But I'm noticing the guilt. I'm noticing the guilt and expectations of things not going the way that I want, in the way that I want. And I was realizing how much that had affected my ability to actually receive everything I actually have. And as I sat with it even more, I realized that guilt, that shame, that perceived unworthiness, and it's all an illusion, my friends, was just a part of me that wasn't allowing me to be happy, wasn't allowing me to be joyful. It's almost like I felt guilty from being happy. And as I sort of sat with myself, looking at me like an observer, having that guilt, I realized that suffering is when we expect other people to be a certain way. Suffering is when we expect life to be a certain way. And suffering is when we expect ourselves to be a certain way. And one thing I've learned with Al Anon and just through life is an expectation is a resentment that's waiting to happen. So rather than kind of co-creating this immense resentment, what would it look like to finally just get in touch with that part of me that wants to be happy? And almost like to connect with myself on a deep level, put my hand on my belly, right where that tension is, and just say, oh my God, Karishma, you deserve everything. You deserve joy. You deserve peace. You deserve love. That your happiness isn't contingent on his kids getting it. Your happiness isn't contingent on my kids getting it. My happiness isn't contingent on my parents getting it. That the second that I give those keys to my happiness to someone else, I'm robbing myself of this gift of joy that I can only give myself. And this gift of joy, this gift of happiness, no one can give it to me, but I can so easily give those keys away to somebody else and say, here, take them. Or I can say, you know what? Today, my happiness is mine. My joy is mine. I get to give that to me today. I get to give that love to me today. I get to give that joy to me today. I get to know that today I'm enough. And you see, I was modeled a lot of things that were not that. But today, as I sit here completely vulnerable, completely raw, I realize I'm deserving of peace. I'm deserving of joy. I'm deserving of happiness. And you see, selfish isn't bad. Selfish is just focusing on self. And guess what? The keys to our freedom, the keys to our joy, the keys to our abundance, the keys to our happiness all lie within self. The more I focus on self and connecting with myself and giving myself that love, that acceptance, that joy, that peace, everything that I've always wanted, that are the keys to my freedom that no one has the power to take away from me. Thank you for listening. Have a blessed day.